Good evening, free enterprise fans, and welcome to our final race of this flag set, our final Friday night community race of How Golbez Stole Christmas. My name is Xenocat. Oh my goodness, I love these objectives. We have, you're a mean one, Mr. Golbez. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactua and as charming as an aquarium. You're a bad comedian with limited appeal. Hopefully that wasn't quite good enough to get us DMCA'd. It's fine. Anyway, we're here tonight with Guerin, Judge Joe, Possum, and Tybalt with some interesting naming schemes. And I believe I am now joined in the booth by Deathlike. How are you doing tonight, Deathlike?
I'm just getting a little cleaning done, but hearing some holiday cheer. I mean, who says no to that?
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an exciting community race. Of note is we have a dark matter hunt this seed. And it is also K-main, K-trap, which means all of the boxes have useful things. We're going to be foraging, we're going to be collecting dark matters and turning them into quarry. We're going to be looking for Golbez, of course, as our Grinch. We got to collect all the presents. We got to get the Earth Crystal to open up the Treasury where all the extra good presents are. And we've got to use the pass to open that pass door to get to our Zeromus tonight.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we're not getting the Earth Crystal late, then we're good, because then we get to get our presents early. I think we have this Porum start, so we're gonna have hoping for some early luck on who is our partner. That's the deal. It's Porum needs a little bit of help, so.
Yeah, Porum is great, but she's not really a powerhouse damage dealer. There are other characters who are much better at that. Although, I suppose if we find a power staff, she can become somewhat useful and get through things if she has to. We would still rather have someone else.
Hey, bonk your way to victory. Just don't bonk the wrong enemy. That's the trick to the power staff. With this dark matter hunt, I mean, looting is going to be a thing, and I'm sure it has been said. There's plenty of places to loot, so I think you have to consider a lot more loot dense spots. So we're talking about even like Baron. There's just a lot of hidden treasure chests. There's like Watery Pass. There are so many places where, just looking for the dark matter helps a lot, and that doesn't help. No, but I get it somewhere.
That's half of an objective. It's fine. We need that.
Well, we have a better loot. I mean, Tella being a great loot goblin. Early exit often very powerful. So, Watery Pass becomes a lot more lucrative. Better loot. You can go traverse further and then not have to walk all the way back. Exit does a lot of the work.
Yeah, it'll definitely make looting a little bit easier, but it's not the powerhouse we were hoping for. But does that matter? Because our wacky flag tonight is payable Golbez, which means that we can bribe off basically all the bosses.
Hey, if you have the money, go do it. Early on, it depends on the boss at the spot. Like if it's a Lunar Sparkle, I would consider I don't want to deal with it. That's
if it's something like Water Hag or King Queen Eblin, maybe I just sit through this fight and save a little bit of money and get some experience, because one important factor to consider is that if you bribe a fight, you don't get the experience from it.
you pay to move forward if you just against really nasty ones. So hey, if Golbez shows up, pay him to go away. That's
Yes.
ability spirit.
Golbez is a prime target for being bribed. The alt gauntlet or the regular gauntlet, whatever it may be, is also a great boss to say, hey, no thank you, go away.
But I think for the early levels, trying to get Quorum to Berserk would be helpful. Although if we end up with an all-mage party, that might be
Yeah, I mean,
be a thing.
we also did see a lot of our runners picking up an Avenger in the Watery Pass. So if we get a Kane or a Cecil, then Berserk, yeah, nice, but not that important.
That does save a lot, but well, at least we'll have to spend on Bacchus wine. While nice, but when you have a white mage and they learn Berserk, it saves money. You could use for something more valuable, maybe like an hourglass, sirens. There are some worthy items that you can spend on because you didn't have to buy Bacchus wine.
That's true. But there's alternatively, you could save all of your money and just use it to bribe your way through all the bosses. Why fight bosses when you can just bribe all of them?
Hey, money does pay.
Yeah, money solves all your problems. And Glaren not having enough to bribe off this Dark Elf for Rosa, because that's what we need, a third white mage.
It's fine.
Everything is fine. We have 3 white mages. This is a balanced party composition.
Probably hoping for a heroine robe somewhere along the line, so you convert one of them to be your kind of workhorse for shooting all the things, and that's
yeah.
So there is some value. It's not. I mean, having 2 white mages isn't the end goal, especially with the 2 top white mages. Right now I'm Porum's number 2 in my heart, even though she's also number 1 because she has exit, and Rosa needs a trip to Zot just to obtain it. So I like Porum.
Yeah, I will note that I don't believe we've seen a good bow or arrows on any of our runners' screens yet, which is really surprising, honestly.
There's yes, go ahead.
Typically, you'll find something, at least, like, even an Elven bow would be, like, enough, honestly. I'd be like, great, Elven bow, charm arrows, let's go.
There are seeds where when you have kind of a lack of bows or arrows that you really want. I think particularly bows, because even though the arrows have kind of determine where the most of the damage comes from, but your accuracy comes from bows, and there's a certain level that you need to reach, usually an archer, but honestly you want an elven bow or better to to do actual work. At lower levels kind of requires luck, and then when the inevitable Val shows up, I mean, well, we have Rosa, so we can kind of avoid some of that, but if Rosa didn't show up, the bow starts to matter a lot more then.
Yeah. Although then again, we can always just bribe Val away, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Well, I think there's would be. I mean, you for that Dark Elf, it was pretty. My recollection of the flag, that you can, that depends on their HP, and Dark Elf terms of the sequence, it's 2 phases.
Mm-hmm.
So the first phase, you never eat through all the HP. You only have to hit so much, but since it's based off of its base HP, it's expensive for Dark Elf to go away.
I think it's just based off of the spot's HP, so
yeah,
it doesn't take into account the extra HP that Dark Elf gets.
Well, it's
purely based on the spot, so it's relatively cheap. Gwilyn just hadn't done a lot of looting and hadn't sold a lot, so was not able to get through to bribe through Dark Elf, and had to try and fight instead.
Chocobo's usually not worth skipping most of the time. I mean, it's kind of lengthy. There's this doctor dialogue, which is like, oh well, can't enough to bribe, but probably worth bribing because doctor dialogue does.
We do have a heroin rope though in Antlion Cave, in that save room, so that's something. We've seen okay arrows in the form of poison arrows, I believe, and it looks like there's a samurai bow on the back of Hobbs.
Yeah, that should be more than enough to even if you never find Rosa, it's still worth it on Plum to do some work.
Well, I mean, the samurai bow is behind Rosa, if that was a samurai bow. I might have misread.
Oh, samurai gauntlet.
And oh my goodness, there's our other half of Forge. Wow. Asuka, do we have somewhere to be tonight?
I think that if there's a ready to eat, I think that would be in the cards. So maybe a ready to eat. That I think that would be her stocking stuffer. I think that there might be a ready in this. It's looking happy.
We'll see. I don't know what's happening on Judge Joe's side. Might be a break, but our other runners are continuing to move through the seed. Possum has been doing a lot of looting in this early game, trying to get every piece of good gear.
Well, there's also the dark matter, so
yes, this is also true. We do need dark matter, so it's not really costing extra time.
Yeah, the looting makes a lot of sense. You want to kind of figure out the equipment to have the right character show up and hope and kind of make it pay off by hey, I have all this loot, they can use it. So then you can just ignore certain characters when the loot doesn't kind of satisfactory. Like if you don't have an Avenger, what's like might not always be good to keep Kane around if an Avenger doesn't show up. So there are some characters, usually berserkers, that are equipment heavy. So there are mages are less loot dependent. So it's really which berserker do you want in your party based on the loot.
I think we've seen decent loot for all of them with that Avenger, and I've seen at least a couple of pieces of Hanzo Steel. Yeah, typically Edge, you need a pair of decent Hanzo Steel to keep online, and it's kind of sometimes sometimes you find it, you pick it up, but there's other times there are the seeds where I found that open treasury where that defense sword, just in case you want to use the Avenger glitch, you have a backup sword just in case. Yep. Runners mostly just covering each other's footsteps, although Judge Joe has headed over to Fabul to continue pressing these key item checks. We'll see if he decides to take the Fabul defense, or it looks like we're just gonna bribe it off. Turns out it was a tribute collector threatening the destruction of the Kingdom of Fabul if you'd refuse to pay 9,400 GP.
Would have been a flooding by a turtle. I mean,
I just want us to keep this price in mind. The safety of the residents of the Kingdom of Fabul can be bought for less than 10,000 GP. That is less than 2 Bacchus wine.
Also less than 2 sirens. It's amazing what you can do with all that money you're collecting through equipment hoarding. Because that's, I mean, whatever trash is someone else's treasure. That money will be put to good use. I mean, Judge Joe going the off. Hey, this is in Fabul. That's great.
Yep, we gotta loot everything in Fabul. Just in case there's dark matters hiding somewhere.
Ironically, it kind of, to some degree, makes it's like Chocobo Forest checks less appealing. While the loot is boosted in Chocobo Forest, outside of the one in Troya, the northern Troya one with the black Chocobo, you only get one, and if you don't get loot, I guess it'd be dark matter, but it's kind of out of the way for something that could be, I guess, not as valuable because of the dark matter hunt.
Yeah, it is a little bit harder to loot out all the Chocobo forests. I definitely wouldn't necessarily loot all of them, but like this Ordeals one, probably worth just dipping by real quick. Same with the one outside Baron. And of course the Chocobo village itself. But an interesting thing to point out about the way the dark matter algorithm works is that the dark matters aren't just purely distributed randomly throughout all the untrapped chests in the game. They're actually distributed in so that they're approximately even throughout the areas. Not totally even, obviously. It's not like there's guaranteed to be one in every area, but you're more likely to find them in areas with a few chests than areas with a lot of chests per chest. Obviously, you'll probably still find one in an area like Dwarf Castle with a lot of chests in it. But the odds per chest are much lower than, say, going into Mist Cave or the Waterfall, where there's only 4 chests, but that 4 chests is usually, I find, the magic number where you can probably expect there to be one dark matter in that area, even though definitely not 1 in 4 chests is a dark matter.
Yeah, it sounds like this favors chest density for the most part. Is that what I'm gathering? And
it favors spreading them out through a bunch of different areas. So an area with 4 chests is likely to have a dark matter in it. Or even more than 1 dark matter, even though an area with 18 chests is also probably only going to have two dark matters maximum.
I don't do enough dark matter. I mean, I'm not usually. I mean, I don't mind being a loot goblin, but loot goblin with dark matter, not. It's a little different.
Dark matters really make you loot everywhere. You can't just hope that you stumble into, say, 18 dark matters in the Treasury, because I don't think I've ever seen a single treasury have more than 3.
Yeah, it's what makes knowing quite a bit of the off looting areas.
Yeah, you need to know what areas have extra chests, like what relatively out of the way areas have chests in them.
I do like Baron. At least when you do like kind of looting Baron treasure, it's actually kind of interesting. Like, what?
See, there's a dark matter in the Baron Chocobo Forest.
I think there's gonna be a judge is gonna peek. And hey, that's Water Hag. So probably we're taking on that fight, or the bribe.
No, it's only 2,000 GP to bribe it. Like whatever, we don't care.
Yeah, well.
It's extremely cheap. It's not worth the time it would take to sit through the Water Hag script there.
It's true. Time is money.
Yeah, exactly. Time is super valuable. We're trying to go as fast as possible, which usually means getting a lot of money, and then spending that to get through bosses fast. We'll figure out a grind later.
I mean, as long as sirens show up, I think that's really all that matters at that point. I mean, this is it's not ordeals. It's the kind of the toll bridge. It's like, hey, here's your money.
Yeah, here's your money. Here's your money, and then we get a hook. Now you have to fight off a sparkle, or you could pay 5,000 gold and not have to fight off a sparkle.
I think there's a lot more value later on, even though the prices might not be as appealing. But like here, I get it's pretty cheap. But I think it's just strategic bribing, for lack of a better term. So,
I mean, with how generous the loot settings are, I've seen runners able to bribe pretty much every boss spot that they need to fight, because you can start save scumming later on. You don't need to, if I have a stack of 500,000 GP, that's not enough money to bribe every boss on the moon. But, like, if I wasn't save scumming. But I can just reset if I don't like the reward.
There are reasons to save early and save often. So, and our party will need a lot of levels. This is I don't remember what the settings are for characters, but I'm hoping that the character pickup in Cave Evelyn will be worthwhile because right now it's
we need a Zerker. And also a Black Mage would be nice, but mostly a Zerker. Someone who can do damage would be very much appreciated. Though we do see Judge Joe, I think, going for these trap chests. With the hourglasses that we have for the start, and Tella having stone, yeah. This is a play.
It is a play. Some would say casting stone is complete RNG. It's actually pretty low. I think it's like base 30 accuracy. You have spell accuracy increased per 2 points of wisdom, and being in the middle slot increases accuracy by 25%. So that stone cast at least has a decent chance of him, and there
it goes. Let's see if this is a key item or if this is just going to be a dud. We swear K-Trap is on.
Love K-Trap.
It's the rat tail. That's nice.
Yeah. Well, with the hook, you could probably
we can go ahead and trade that in and get something out of it.
We have an early darkness, so I think going underground makes the most sense, and essentially bribing our way doesn't.
Moon is expensive to bribe through for sure.
Harder bosses are harder to bribe. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And if you want to bribe the element spot, it's so pricey. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a beefy spot. With the.
Oh hey look, that's a character on the moon.
Hey,
we have someone who can do damage.
Or he could take a break and just do cover strats and let everyone else.
No, he's doing damage.
Oh, not the seed. Well,
I'm pretty sure we want him to do damage.
Yeah, probably we'll have to take a fight. What makes
we can throw the Avenger on him. He'll be fine.
Well, it depends on the boss. If the boss
plus 10 strength, plus 10 agility, he'll be fine. Most of the time, there are some scary, but just take him to Evelyn with that. It's fine.
Oh yeah, for Evelyn, doing that on
getting levels there. And Judge Joe has been struggling with the stone cast. There it goes. Just needed us to mention that he was struggling, and now we're through Evelyn Castle. And right, adamant armors are a thing. Adamant Tella is a choice.
Sure. It's definitely it's a rare moment where first priority adamant goes to Tella. I would have probably.
I would imagine when Judge Joe heads up to the moon and sees Cecil, it's going to be taken away from Tella. Okay. Tella's probably going to lose his adamant privileges.
Yeah, it's the first to go, first to lose it. It's I probably would have given it to one of the two white mages, or maybe even if a spoon showed up with Edward, but that's not. Mm-hmm. But I don't
meanwhile, we do see Possum diving the hook route. Is Possum aware that K-Trap is on? I mean, maybe. Has been looting a little bit, but definitely did not check the Evelyn trap chests.
It's a pretty dense area. The Cave Evelyn, only one trap chest, but pretty dense in terms of looting. So to avoid it is a little strange, yeah. But
he did loot the untrapped chests earlier, but has not gone back in for the trapped chests. Meanwhile, Tybalt is checking out the moon to see what bosses are up here. I think is trying to verify that Golbez is up here, whether Golbez is up here or not, because these bosses do not have to be cleared. And demist is also a thing, because we do not have a free key item available. As you may have noticed, none of our runners went to Troya for the free key item. talk to Bedward? Yeah, D-Mist is a thing that has an item. That is not the right D.
No, that's a reset.
That is a D-Knight, not a D-Mist.
That's not. That's.
And Bristow has found the Twin Harp in Eblin Castle. Go check that now, please. I want to hear music.
Music in a sea. I'd rather do that. But ooh, Dark Imp. That's free-ish as long as Rosa gets off the hourglass. That Tybalt needs that. And okay, so even if three people died, they've won. You've already won them. You've already won the fight for the most part. There we go. And now we perform probably do the life glitch while we're here. This is the most XP dense boss spot on the moon, so
yep,
it's worth doing. Just using a coffin.
Or using weak.
Yes.
Terra has weak. Cecil is unable to hit things.
We'll take some time. There we go. An actual weapon that can actually do bonk damage.
Oh, interesting. Gwyn is headed to the hairdryer's chest first on the moon.
Probably wants the early XP, and I don't blame it. You need that XP. This
and this is a key item check on this flag set. We don't have K Moon or K Summon on, but we do have K Main and K Trap, and this is a K Trap location that does not require K Moon like the Lunar Subterranean Trap chests. So while Tybalt isn't going to get any key items out of this Dark Imps fight, is going to get 166,000 experience. Plus 2 very nice rewards. No progression, but some nice power potential from this spot.
Yeah, it's I mean, compared to what Gordon's doing, this is the effectively free spot from the D-Loons. Helps boost XP significantly more, and
yeah, and that's a holy sword found for Tybalt. And also, Judge Joe has found the Baron key out of the Staleman. I think Possum skipped that as well. Yeah, I think Possum has skipped that chest. That could be bad. That is now 2 key items that Possum has missed. 3 key items, sorry. Rat Tail, Harp, and Baron key that Possum has missed out on. But by skipping trap chests.
It is possible that those key items might not come back to bite him, but
it's possible. None of those key items are hard required. Golbez can show up somewhere else. The Earth Crystal in the past can be other places. It's fine.
Oh, found a pink tail there. But not required. But hey, second item in armor in the seed, effectively.
Yeah, no, that's very nice for Glaylin. I'm sure Glaylin's quite happy to see a pink tail.
I think, I mean, D-Mist Hunt. If D-Mist is gaining something, and if that is on the giant,
that could get rude very quickly.
Especially,
although, if we have enough money, we don't have to fight D-Mist on the giant. We can bribe D-Mist on the giant.
There's some pieces of equipment that can be sold at this point. Venture probably at the top of the list if we are kind of in dire need, but I probably don't want to do that unless the defense sword on the table at least can probably be. You could probably get away with selling Avenger. Avenger having more value than I remember. But other than that,
yeah. Possum does take out the Mad Ogre's chest at least, so we'll be remembering that. We'll see if the Mad Ogres have a key item or if Possum will be. Oh, that's a Luca key. Possum. You know now. K-Trap is on.
won't go back. Gotta go forward. Can't go back. That's just.
Yes.
So it's not sure if the warp flag is on, but if worst comes to where we still have to check the spot if demist, so it doesn't.
Demist or Golbez could be down there, yeah.
Yeah. So even if the whether or not the warp glitch is on, you probably will have to go take a trip there anyways.
But Possum does have enough money to just bribe his way through this hook route, and will, as a result, be our first runner underground at hitting the pitfall at 27 minutes and 20 seconds, but Judge Joe is not far behind.
Oh, there we found him. We found the Grinch.
Oh, the Grinch is at the top of tower. I guess that ends the Grinch hunt.
At least, but Demus holding something like, say, the pass or the Earth crystal. That's still like on our runner's mind. At least we know. At least for Possum, trying to figure out where what gets you to Earth might be a kind of work. You still have to check the spots.
Judge Joe is just 30 seconds behind Possum getting underground, but already has a Baron Key and a Twin Harp and a Rat Tail on Possum. Which, to be fair, could all be nothing.
Has the Rat Tail turn in? I did see a Pink Tail turn in, but
I don't know that we've seen a Rat Tail turn in.
Is that?
I would be surprised if we hadn't, but I'm not sure. Our Sheep Portrait Tracker confirming there has not been a Rat Tail turn in yet. We will see it when Judge Joe goes to turn that in, if he goes to turn that in.
Probably not in a rush. You have all your access. You have your darkness. You have your underground access. You kind of not really gated by anything. So like, it makes a lot of sense. You're not, unless you're hoping for something, like Pink Tail for guaranteed adamant. They're not. It's not critical. So, and hey, rare. See,
I mean, I would have wanted to check it for maybe a spicy or something spicy, but like an Earth Crystal even for a Treasury. But yeah, it's fine.
I think it makes sense if it was on the way for routing. Right now, they're like, it's kind of an interruption to just go out of the way.
Oh yeah, at this point, like, you stay underground. I was more thinking before diving down the hook route.
Yeah, and we see all the loot, all the places that loot.
So much loot in Dwarf Castle.
But it's kind of a little spread. It's not a long trek, but cumulative with all the spots there are.
There's a lot of little corners that you have to go into in Dwarf Castle to get all the loot out of it. Yeah.
It's a pretty popular place to loot early game if you have like early underground access through the magma key, and I've seen that been pretty popular. But for dark matter, it's kind of required. But like typically, it's kind of rare to see that otherwise.
It's a little bit interesting to loot, and I'm not sure that Judge Joe knows about all the secret passages in the Dwarf Castle that let you not have to go up and down the stairs every time.
It's like kind of.
It's a tricksy castle.
another adamant. It's kind of like Evelyn, except Evelyn has a kind of few less secrets, but here.
Yeah, Evelyn. There's a lot of secret passages in Dwarf Castle. There's fewer in Evelyn, but they can be even ruder than the Dwarf Castle ones at times.
And Tybalt, does have a level. I was about to say, Tella's still taking a nap, so this should be too quick. So, and Possum going up the tower. I think with Tower Key in hand, so that's a...
Yeah, with Tower Key in hand, this absolutely makes sense. You know there's an objective up here, so take care of it quickly and, clear out the tower while we're here, although Possum is not going for chests.
I already knew about it. Maybe...
And notice that K-Trap is on at this point. Maybe he's just thinking, or maybe didn't see the Luca key. I don't know. Maybe he's thinking, I'm not going to need anything from a trap chest. The Earth Crystal's definitely not going to be in any of these trap chests. There's no way that I can need an Earth Crystal or a pass out of one of these chests. I also could get them on the way down. That is also a consideration. Oh, hi, D-Mist.
Hey, we're looking for you. That's okay.
Bye, D-Mist. Tower of Babel, more like Tower of Boss Hunts this seed.
I mean, it probably makes more. Doesn't make a difference whether you pick it up, all the treasure up on your way up or on your way down. You can do it in any order. It's not like there's no, and we are doing a dark matter hunt, so it doesn't. Not a priority, and you're probably, I guess, more to avoid the inventory boss. That if you start your collection immediately and then get a key item after a trap chest or from the boss, it's a visit from our favorite vacuum kind of vacuum cleaner. We need to dump junk that we don't want, kind of like returns.
Judge Joe does get through Dwarf Castle. It's just a life stuff though, so there's nothing of value in Dwarf Castle today. And Golbez is also holding onto a Holy Sword. That gives a large advantage to everyone who has Cecil in the party, and a bit of a disadvantage to everyone who doesn't.
Hey, Golbez was generous today. You bribe him, and you get a sword. How can you say no to that?
Golbez isn't actually... See, I don't think Golbez is even, like, a boss in this seed. He's just, like, a merchant at the top of his tower. And he's like, congratulations for making it to the top of my tower. And now, pay me for this powerful holy sword. And if you don't pay him for the sword, then he fights you righteously. Because, you just tried to take the sword, you just refused to pay him for his sword.
It's a side job, it's a side hustle. Golbez isn't making enough money during the day. You have to find ways of, collecting, cash.
Running the Red Wings is not a moneymaker.
I mean, you could, but it's just not as appealing. It's a good bribe. Excal for money. I mean, who could say no to that?
Possum did not pick up any of the trap chests on the way out of the tower. Just to note.
I think it's for Possum. Maybe he's just kind of like decide arbitrarily. Hey, I don't want to do this. I know K-Trap is on, but if I fade them and they have what I have.
They have what I need. Yeah, it's like, so be it.
Yeah.
I mean...
Only 4.
Yeah, and they are kind of rude for this party, because Possum has not found any of the good characters, like Edge in Dwarf Castle. That's a good character.
Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense to just kind of wait and see what characters have before committing. Oftentimes.
By the way, we did get a job dwarf check. Our job dwarf is an anthropology and archaeology professor. And our rat tail is revealed to be the sand ruby. I don't know if we saw who was in the capo bed, but Goyrin has access to that character now.
Usually not worth it. It's only you only have
Palin. Palin, I mean, over maybe Tella or one of the white mages. Take your pick. You can probably get rid of a white mage for him. Or Edward. There's a lot of characters that Palom is better than in this party.
It's true, but it's out of the way. Only one item check. So it's like unless it's worth it, and Vernon probably doesn't know. So
I mean, remember, the dark matter algorithm does favor less populous areas. See, it was a dark matter. Okay. There's a dark matter in Kaipo.
I guess.
The
I
dark
guess.
matter algorithm, I swear, it favors less dense areas. Not in terms of putting all of the dark matters in there, but you're more likely than usual to see dark matters in less dense areas and areas without trap chests.
I guess those trackable forests are worth it. I guess if they're on the way at this point.
Yeah, but I think the thing with the charcoal forest is they're treated as one area by the the way the randomizer is coded, so it treats them as collectively one area with 8 checks.
That's interesting. So this probably just more likely to be like
Whereas,
1 or 2 at most,
yeah,
I guess.
there's like 1, maybe 2 in the charcoal forests combined. But Kaipo is just its own area with 1 check. So it's reasonably likely that that check is a dark matter. It's not guaranteed, obviously. We wouldn't do that. But it is a pretty good chance of being a dark matter. But that's why places like the Mist Cave, the Waterfall, Silvera, Coco's Forge are amazing places to loot on a dark matter hunt. Yeah. If you just need like 1 or 2 more dark matters. Those are the places that I would prioritize.
Yeah, I haven't played enough of them and haven't noticed the tip. I haven't really noticed. I mean, it's like I have a feel of the distribution, but like not as in that cleared up, because I like high density spots to do it. I mean, but
it's all on the wiki. You just have to read the wiki. All the information is right there.
It is. I always like to kind of feel it out. Like, don't tell me the numbers. The numbers will verify what I think.
Oh yeah, back of Troya. I don't know why I hate looting it on dark matter hunts. It's so out of the way, and it has no dark matters today. I feel vindicated. Heck, back of Troya. No one wants to walk all the way back there.
So I think it was like two spots, I think, and that was.
There's 4 spots there.
4. It's not. It's so out of the way, and it's not like it's an easy way to get back.
Anyway, Judge Joe found a spoon in the warrior's chest while we were talking, because Judge Joe has been clearing everything.
Sorry. Well, that means Edward is Edward still Judge Joe's party?
I don't know.
Because typically that. Right now, if Edward hasn't been eating, Edward stays. So that's pretty much, I think that's the only difference. So depending on, whether our runners have picked up Edward or not, will determine.
But importantly, that is a 10th key item for Judge Joe already.
Yeah, double XP when you picked up your 10th key item, very invaluable. Not just valuable, invaluable.
Mm-hmm. And the Earth Crystal is in the Fame Arch freebie. Ooh, Possum getting bailed out a bit. Although that pass could still be anywhere.
Yeah. There's various pass settings. I think it's probably under a key item, where a key item spot would be normally located. So
yeah.
So probably we'll have to at least fight a boss at a spot somewhere to claim it at this point. It may be even like demist for all, I think.
Well, it's not. Yeah, we won't need to fight any bosses in the Fame Arch because they don't have key items. Judge Joe does have to check this in case demist is down here, but we know that demist isn't down here, so he can leave.
It's still worth face checking. It's face checking for information. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, it's nice to face check, but in Possum's case, having already seen Golbez and Demist, he knows that whatever's down there, he's not fighting.
Oh, yeah. It obviously depends on what you've seen previously will determine what you don't have to do. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we see Possum actually making the sealed cave play. While he's in the underground, may as well take out the sealed cave. It's the last sort of thing to do here before heading through Sylph Cave and then checking Sheila 1. Plus, there's a lot of items here, and odds are there's a couple of dark matters in here. It's not my favorite place to loot, just because of how spread out the chests are, and they are all considered in the same area, so there's probably only 2 or 3 dark matters total.
Yeah, this
Meanwhile, Judge Joe is tearing through trap chests.
remembering which spot actually has treasure chests. So that the room that Possum was just passing by, those doors, nothing behind them. Here I think there's like 3 different spots from one of the doors on this side.
Yep.
So that's a pain. One is for the light that would vanilla light sword would have been.
There's one with 2 chests in there. I think one with 1 chest, one with 3. I believe.
Yeah. So skipping some of the Possum is kind of intentionally skipping chests that would be out of the way. Either not have memorized them or just don't care. Don't care.
Don't care about if it's a dark matter, whatever. I don't need all of them. And then enters this door, which is nothing. There's nothing in that room.
Yep.
You're thinking of this room down here. Yes, this one. There are 2 chests in here. Yes. Neither of them are dark matters, of course.
Yeah. So I think Possum is pretty much done looting. There's no more treasure down here. Other than the ones he intentionally skipped. So I mean, if you really want to loot, you can. Might be, but again, the risk you can only and the probability that dark matter will be there. I don't know how many dark matter has been collected in this entire area to date. Probably 2. So it's probably more than you expect.
You might see a 3rd, but that's about it. Tybalt, it looks like, has visited the Choco Forest. There's dark matter in the Chocobut. Because, of course, there's always dark matter in the Chocobut. Judge Joe has been taking out more alerts for nothing so far. Nothing. More nothing. But it does look like Tybalt is headed towards music to give us the music check.
Lovely. It's a good stroll in Cave Magnus for some music. A lot of music provided by my co-commentator Xenocat, who has a ton Xenogears music. I'm pretty sure there's a good reason for that. The chances of some Xenogears music appearing in the seed is pretty high. But I don't even. Do you even know how many tunes are in the randomizer for? Like...
I mean, I know the exact numbers off the top of my head. The total number in this version, in the current version, is 403. So there's 403 songs total. I think 28 or 29 of them are from Xenogears. I'll have to double check that math. It's a lot of Xenogears specifically, but there's a lot of representation of other games as well.
It's like under 10%. That's still that's a showing. I can't.
Well, of course, there's not even that many. There's only like 40 songs on the Xenogears OST. Like,
only 40. Okay, so
yeah, it's a small soundtrack. It's very good, but also small. Anyway, Guerin is headed underground. Tybalt is giving Tala and Adam an armor for reasons. Possum's headed back to the overworld to, I believe, check Sheila. And then maybe do Zot? I think that's the only other check that would make logical sense to me. While Judge Joe is taking on the tower, and will have all of his bossons taken care of. Oh! You know what check Possum has access to after this Sheila check? Rodia's mom.
Well, yeah, it's one of those. Hey, I did that. Sometimes
yeah. We'll see if he remembers that Lydia's mom exists.
I think that's probably the next place to check, but we'll see.
He might be more inclined tempted by the Earth Crystal, being like, ooh, shiny Earth Crystal. But no, it does look like he has remembered that Lydia's mom is a check that exists, that should be completed. But anyway, we'll be quiet now because I think some music's about to play. And of course, music gets cut short because we can bribe our way through the boss and discover that the harp is just a masa, so unfortunately, no required harp tonight.
But love Lufia too. A lot of cool tunes from that game too. But yeah, that unfortunately, you know, when you try getting out of the way checks, sometimes it can burn you, and and not all checks are good. So I guess we'll find out what's left.
We'll move on. We'll find other things to do. It's okay.
Looks like Zot's on the table for Possum. Oh, but first of all, unlock the treasury first.
Oh yes, we're gonna go hit up the treasury. So I guess it is about that time to play everybody's favorite game.
Not sure what we're gonna expect from this treasury, given that we found a lot of the good stuff. And
I mean, the Zeus Gauntlet's nice. There's a couple, the Stardust Rod in there, a couple Dark Matters, an Adamant Armor. Okay.
Okay, that was
okay. Treasury. Sure. Just give us an Adamant Armor. Why don't you?
Very generous seed. That's why Golbez stored all that stuff here. It's because you know, why give you all the really good stuff when you can have? So I think I was like third or fourth adamant in this seed. So that's
third adamant for us total, but I think it's Possum's second because he does not have the pink tail adamant armor.
It's fine.
Because the pink tail was up from the hairdryer's chest.
Yeah, probably not getting it, and right now we'll be betting on everything being on Zot, because what's left,
for Possum at this point, what's left is Zot and trap chests. And Possum has seemed to be very committed to not checking trap chests. Although he might be realizing, hey, I might need to check some trap chests. Let's check out the Flame Dog while I'm here in Zot. Please, Possum, check the Flame Dog chest while you're in Zot.
That's usually a quick spot to check.
It's a very quick trap chest. It's very easy. It's a no-brainer to do if you're MK Trap. It's not worth it. We know, because Tybalt, I believe, went up there and checked it and got nothing. But for peace of mind's sake, check it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's found the pen yet from the tracking, so that makes.
Yeah, I mean, we still have Baron Castle. No one has done any Sylph Cave trap chests because those take forever and are not fun.
Yeah. Well, Baron has a rather dense place, but that means only probably maybe 2 or 3 Dark Matters, so that will be worth being there to try to collect.
I mean, there's probably a couple in the sewers, and then a couple or maybe 1 or 2 in the sewers, and 1 or 2 in the castle, because they are separate areas. You really got to know what specific areas count as separate. Like the Troya Treasury, completely separate from the rest of Troya, which is why there can be 2 in the Troya Treasury itself, and then also a couple others in the public treasury.
Yeah, it's nice how that is set up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, how are you able to distinguish, you know, what the treasury for?
Yeah, it's all based on the loot curves, which are on the wiki. So each area, you can tell what's in each area. For example, the 2 chests that are in the Baron Weapon Armor Shop are considered separate from the rest of the Baron Town chests.
Yeah, because it's
locked by the Baron key. So those 2 chests are treated as a separate area functionally by the in terms of treasure randomization, which also affects the Dark Matters. But yeah, we see Glaren going through the underground, headed to the tower to take out Golbez. Judge Joe climbing Zot just on Possum's heels, but again with that Baron key in hand and extra key items, so able to get more experience out of some of these checks. And Tybalt is headed down the hook route. And it's worth noting there is also some value in just having a bunch of checks complete. Because Possum, when he starts to go to check trap chests, may go back to Evelyn Castle, may go to the Hook route, may go to the Warrior's chest. Has all these other places to look. Whereas Judge Joe is down to Last Arm, Hair Dryers, Sylph Cave. After this.
Does dark matter factor into the LST much at all? Because
it's rare. There are going to be like 1 or 2 dark matters down there, but not much. And Possum does get the pan out of Zot, so that's a bailout. You can chase that for 1 item.
I mean, because Possum's trying to be the most efficient, trying to figure out the density, and I think, Scythe's Cave probably will be the play at this point. I mean, well,
it's like Sylph Cave is roughly equivalent to Last Arm plus Hair Dryers in terms of the entire play. In terms of the key item payoff, at least. Dark matter wise, it's also fairly similar. You're likely to have maybe 2-3 dark matters in Sylph Cave, whereas there's probably going to be 1 in the Lunar Path. There's probably going to be at least 1 in the Giant, maybe 2. So it's tricky. And there's probably a dark matter in Cape Bahamut as well.
So I think there might be a cheeky Giant play for this. Like
we'll see.
Just for the
trap chest.
Yeah. Not even bothering for because
Possum we don't need the boss anymore. Yeah. We've seen Golbez and D-Mist at this point.
Well,
Possum is through Sylph Cave, got the apple from the Sylphs, is headed to Sheila to get the Sheila 2 check done. I think Judge Joe might be done with dark matters at this point.
Well, that's good. Having collected enough dark. Hey, we can get on.
We found Blarg in the tower. I guess that was a thing.
Here's the item.
That's the Sheila 1. It was already arrows. It's the package.
That was useful.
That's useless now. We don't need that. Possum, I think, is realizing that he has to go for trap chests now, and he has a whole bunch of trap chests to go for that Judge Joe has already cleared.
There aren't. The play to go. I think it's interesting what's left on the table on K-Trap. And it looks like just do Eblin, all of Eblin, and whoops, where's my hovercraft moment?
Yes, we kind of need the hovercraft to be flipped over. This might actually be a play for the Staleman chest first.
Right, singular chests. You've already done.
Singular chests are exactly the same as regular key item checks. So, in my opinion, there's no reason to skip a singleton trap chest like the Flame Dog chest or either of these hook route trap chests under any circumstance, because it is essentially a check. You can treat it the same as one of these K-main checks.
I mean,
but with the alerts and the Evelyn traps, it's a little bit more reasonable to skip, although they're still pretty likely to have stuff. Sylph Cave is a reasonable fade.
Well, it requires a bit more work to get the treasure, so it's just that. And I mean, with Edge, we'll solve all after going through the hook route, having all the spells available, having just enough damage to get by. So Judge Joe is literally doing that as the grind, as the hey, I think it's here. So
yep.
And it's a valid choice. I mean,
there's 7 trap chests here. Although the way that the randomizer adds chests to the pool, only 2 of them are guaranteed in, and then there's a depreciating chance of having more even in the randomization pool. And with the number of key items that we've seen so far, Judge Joe is just looking for a pass, a package, and a pink tail. Meanwhile, Possum has found the Baron key. example, there's a check in Baron that Judge Joe could have done instead of this. There's a check in Harp that Judge Joe could have done. Those are guaranteed 1 checks. There's a check in the there's a Hairdryer's Chest, which is a guaranteed 1 check. There's a Last Arm, which is a guaranteed 1 check. These are all... Sure, there's probably there's at least 2 checks within these 7 chests.
He's checking the equipment out just to see something. I'm not sure. Maybe. Oh no, more dark matter hunt. Okay, so because it's out of the pool.
Yeah, this is a different area. So yeah, there's a dark matter in the Baron Weapon and Armor Shop.
This shouldn't be too bad. Those 2 defense swords definitely will fund whatever bribes are left. I think at this point, you see Possum's gold total more than enough to bribe the rest of the seed. So
yeah,
that is. It's a good time when you have picked enough loot that you can bribe your way to the end. That's something.
It does look like Judge Joe is using Spoonword, which I love to see. I'm happy with Judge Joe using Spoonword. Yes, Spoonword, go. Destroy.
But you could have a Cecil with Avenger or with Excal.
Judge Joe hasn't been to the moon yet. He doesn't know that Cecil exists. Same with Possum. They don't know about Cecil. They're busy with their Spoonword and being like, oh my goodness, Spoonword. Or in Possum's case, Edge.
I mean, Moonplay usually. I mean, without K Moon, there's not as much incentive to go to the moon to do anything.
Yeah. The only thing on the moon itself is the Hairdryer's Chest, as far as key items are concerned.
Or the character check if you're still looking for characters.
Yeah.
So
but that's it.
So I think the value is different at the time you decide to do. At the time you pick up the Darkness Crystal. So it's kind of it's interesting, and especially with the setting, you're probably less likely to do it. So Cecil on the moon valuable, but given that you don't have to do the moon, it's mostly fadeable, so you can probably get away with it.
Yeah, so. And it's like raising the big whale takes a while, so if you can fade both of those checks, that's really nice. Possum, it does look like, is headed right into Baron Castle, favoring the main checks, as opposed to Judge Joe, who has been more keen on checking out these trap chests.
Yeah, so I think what's left is, I think, the Baron checks, right? Outside of, and whatever's in Scythe Cave, so we'll find out soon enough.
The Baron check, the Sylph Cave, and Last Arm in the Giant is still unknown at this point.
I think it would be cheeky to check Last Arm first before trying to do any other K trap. There's Last Arm isn't a very difficult fight either. So it's kind of like the Flame Dot check. So
Last Arm is pretty easy, and it is a singleton trap chest, which means it is high value. And Judge Joe has taken out the Toad Lady chest. Possum is finding a Vanilla Sid and saying, I expect no thank you.
When you find your anchor early, usually in the form of Tella, you don't. Sid is usually not long unless there's no other better Berserker choice, and you already have seen Edge, so it's not appealing.
No, we're good. Judge Joe, I think, has still not found anything of value in Sylph Cave, and we've cleared a lot of Sylph Cave.
It's a grind, even if you didn't.
This is true. It is a lot of experience, which we do need. There is a crystal sword, so Cecil has gotten even more valuable once he shows up. If Judge Joe goes to the moon and gets that Cecil. And it looks like that's where Possum is going, because Baron Castle did not have the goods.
Ooh. So, so what is? I'm trying to see what's left that's being gated. Is it just? What are we looking? Well, the pass is
They're
probably
looking for the pass for both Possum and Judge Joe. They're just looking for the pass. Our other runners are also looking for the Earth Crystal, but I think everyone has seen Golbez. Everyone is finding their dark matters. Obviously, everyone has both halves of Forge, so they don't have to worry about that.
It's unfortunate. They probably have to do basically a face check on every other spot in the LST then, at that point.
Yeah. The K-Moon is off. They don't need to check anything down there.
Then not even K-Value isn't as valuable because K-Summon isn't on.
So yeah, so there's nothing to do on the moon other than the Hairdryer's chest, and then the last arm chest in the Giant. Those are the only two things that the Darkness Crystal really opens up. Although Possum Morpheus is going to be happy he checked this character, because Cecil is good. Although he'll probably be wishing that he checked it earlier in the seed.
We weren't in a rush. I mean, we're bribing everyone. You don't need the... You weren't collecting XP, so it wasn't...
Yes, that's true.
So I guess it's time for visiting the last arm chest. That would be Possum's left move that he does before going to dig into K-Trap, which...
Well, he'll hit Hairdryers first, probably, just because he's already up here on the moon. Or we're going shopping, that works too.
Hey, we have other things to do with that bribe money. That's probably maybe looking for sirens. I don't think we've seen them in the seed.
Yeah, that shop isn't gonna have them though. And Judge Joe gets another Adamant Armor out of the last chest in Sylph Cave, so no progression, but more Adamant Armors for everyone. Hooray!
Hey, you're more better. Hey, you live through Z. At least most of the characters that will have it, so that is a plus. A stable Z fight is worth the extra Adamant.
So Judge Joe is now just down to Sheila 2, Harp, Baron, Last Arm, Hairdryers, which means I think we know that it has to be in the Last Arm chest.
There are no other places. So.
I'm pretty sure we're out of other places to check for the pass.
Does that mean Possum's gonna do a D machine grind? Because that's what he's signed up for at this point.
I think that's what he has to do at this point, basically. And yeah, for Judge Joe, it's just a matter of how fast does he get to Last Arm. He's not keeping the package. He's like, no, I don't need a package.
It's not a gift. It can't keep on giving, but not in any appreciable way though.
I'm gonna go check Luca Cave for Judge Joe. The sealed cave makes sense. You're down here. Might be considering just doesn't want to go through the trouble of raising the whale. Unfortunately, we know that that's required because it's in the Last Arm chest.
It's surprising, like the distribution of key items in trap chests. Like there wasn't. We haven't found any outside of the Last Arm chest. There wasn't any other. Well, it's not even a key item. That doesn't even count as a key item. There
were key items in some of the trap chests, but none of them were actually like progression.
Yeah.
Or used for progression, I should say. Like we showed that we had the Baron key and the Luca key in trap chests on the hook route. We had Rat Tail and Harp in Ebwin Castle. We had Spoon in the Warrior's chest, Pink Tail from the Hairdryers. But we didn't need any of those.
It's a kind of seed that kind of Possum feeds into. Even though it's more like the seed rolled that way, it's just it's ironic. And Pink Tail, hey, do you want an extra Adamant Armor? Probably.
Yes, we need more Adamant Armors. I don't think we have enough Adamant Armors. I think we need even more.
Yeah, we also need a league that ran.
Oh yeah, there was a magma key in the tower trap chests, I guess. Somehow I missed that.
Yeah, well, I think it was the one of the lower floor in the underground.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the sirens. Yeah, well, very easy to kill. If you really want to steal sirens from them, still valuable, especially with the edge that we know is at least most accessible in the dwarf castle. So
Yes.
But right now, probably not the consideration.
And hey, look, Judge Joe has turned in his dark matters.
Yeah.
Yay! And is headed to Baron, unfortunately. This is not the correct play. You need to go somewhere else.
Well,
We're waiting to see how long it takes people to go to Last Arm, but it looks like Possum is going to be our first runner to go to Last Arm. The answer is always in Last Arm, folks.
It is the last location for a lot.
Just don't last location, Last Arm. It's so valuable.
I found Last Arm to be also not a difficult a monster to beat, but it's like I was like, hey, I want to find that Last Arm. It's just because, especially in this dark matter hunt. I mean, there's usually sometimes like the distribution of key items. It's like, why does it go here?
Because the Last Arm is a singleton trap chest, and therefore just as likely as any main check to have a key item. It's always included in the pool.
Yeah, it's usually worth checking. I wonder if we had getting a count. I know you said earlier Judge Joe has turned in 30 dark matter. Have we? I wish we had a count of it. It's at least it's coming to a conclusion one way or the other. I feel like Possum's behind on the...
Possum, I think, has all the dark matters, just hasn't turned them in.
Okay, so that... Because with all this looting going on, it's hard to get an accurate count. It's like, if you skip a chunk of an area...
And there is that pass in the Giant. Possum is going to keep going, probably to do a D-Machine grind to get all the levels he needs. Judge Joe will not really need that kind of grind, I don't think, once he gets there, but he still has to make the choice to go to Last Arm.
I mean, it's last location again, right? I don't remember if Judge Joe's done the
Judge Joe hasn't done Harp, hasn't done Hair Dryers, and that's it.
I think Harper probably is more fadeable, so could probably do
Harp is pretty long. It's not much for it. It's one check. It's gross. D-Machine stands for Machine Dragon based, essentially, yes. But D-Machines are not machines. They are dragons.
They have the name. They just don't. They're just not machines. Yes, it's a lot of things in this game are consistent, super consistent.
Yes. They are dragons. They are not machines. D-Mist, the Mist Dragon, is not a dragon. Bahamut is also not a dragon. Screamers are an enemy in Sealed Cave that look a lot like a couple of other enemies that are weak to Holy and Undead in Antlion Cave and in the Upper Babel. The Screamers are not weak to Holy at all. They are machines and giants.
Totally logical.
If you know what they are, they look like they're a spirit.
They are, but
they are machine giants. Everything makes sense in Final Fantasy IV.
Completely. That's just like bosses having properties that they should or shouldn't.
Why is Possum doing Cape Bahamut? Oh, behemoths. Oh, right. Never mind, I understand.
Not doing Team Machine.
Carry on, Possum. Do behemoths.
this is effectively a fast grind. D machines would be kind of overly excessive. We just need enough, and with there's three behemoths in 3 specific spots. So if you turn off encounters, you'll essentially normally kind of walk into them and counter them. So this is a pretty good source, easy to manage fight, because behemoths only care about if you deal damage to them. It will kind of punish you for doing so. So that's, and there will be special exceptions to it, but like using
they punch every now and then on their turns, but like they're very slow. So if you are not slow anchored, then they will probably not get many turns.
Yeah, they're super slow. That's
so as Possum is in go mode and grinding for levels, we did have a first place finisher come in off our stream. Rybon has finished this race in first place with an official time of 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 18 seconds. So GG's to Rybon.
GG's. Must have probably not last locationed.
Just check last arm.
I know.
Just check last arm. It's not that bad. You get Darkness Crystal on the overworld. You check last arm. Like some of the runners who chose not to go to the moon early, I get it. Runners that went up and did hair dryers, I'm like, just check last arm, please.
It is shorter than you think, and you just need warp
to like speed your way out, but you don't even need warp. The screens aren't that long. If you don't have warp, just walk out.
Leave for last hour.
Sometimes it is fine to walk out of an area. You do not need warp for Giant.
It is actually pretty short.
Leave. Yes, Escrub, you can leave. Just walk out. You can leave. Hit the bricks. It's okay.
There is a vanilla flag for Giant to prevent it, but I think for this race... But
that's not on this race, yeah.
It's something to note, but just walk out. You can walk out.
Yes. I mean, for Sealed Cave, maybe I understand not wanting to walk that out. That's a very, very long cave, but like, Giant is not that long. Zot is not that long. You can walk out of those places if you're not finishing them.
Zot is it's kind of slow. I don't think it's not as long, but maybe it's slow. It's not terrible. It's not LST terrible by any stretch. So
Yeah. Well, Joe is on the way to the Giant, so we'll find that pass soon and has a bit of a level advantage on Possum, although I think that has mostly evaporated at this point with the Behemoth grind.
Yeah, I like this grind. I mean, even if you didn't do this grind, this Behemoths provide effectively almost maximum HP amount. So if you do need money, Behemoths are something worth looking for.
The Behemoths will provide you with lots of money.
More inventory boss. So probably should get rid of right and not in the sea. Might as well dump. There's something about being a loot goblin that you forget. Oh yeah, I have so much junk that I'm not gonna ever use.
Okay, Joe has found the storm chest. Possum is done behemoth grinding.
And to cash it in, open doors, and collect the crystal. I think in this case, though, probably might just first of all, turn in the dark matter, not immediately turn in the torch, just save it, and then just do the thing immediately.
Joe has the pass. Joe can basically just go straight to Zeromus at this point, if he really wants to. He is now walking out of the Giant, and he's only on the first real screen. Whereas, and those levels are a little bit sketchy, but with Adamant Armors, Joe's honestly probably fine with an Eddy, with a Spoonward and a Crystal Sword Cecil. Those levels are totally fine.
Yeah,
Possum's turned in his Dark Matters. This is going to be very close.
Element kind of practically removes one of the spell multipliers from a nerfed Big Bang spell. Nerfed Big Bang has a spell multiplier of 4. So Eddie with kind of under 900 can probably has a pretty good chance of surviving one. So we'll So
no, I'm not that scared of this fight for either of them. This is very close. Possum is a little bit ahead, getting that pass door turn done and opened, getting that crystal. Going to be heading to Zeromus to see who we might be fighting tonight, because I am starting to see some flags in chat. And do you know what those flags mean, Deathlike?
It's time to go to bed. Because
it's quite late. It's time for bed. I'm sorry, we will not be finishing this race. We're very tired in the commentary booth. We're going to be heading to sleep. Y'all enjoy the rest of this race. We're going to let you find out next time who won this race.
Yeah, it's not that. It's time for our favorite boss, Zeromus, and Zeromus.
And all of the questions.
Yeah, there's plenty of questions. Like there's plenty of things Z does, but the most important question to ask is, whose butt are we going to kick tonight? Those questions involving Z, because Z has to cosplay.
Yeah, is butt cute? Does the butt have a hat? Is the hat cute? Does the butt have a musical instrument?
Questions, you asking Z questions. It's its own game. It's and worth playing at any time.
These are all important things. Does the hat have a hat? Yes, this is also important. Is the hat cute? All of these questions will be answered and more right now, because we have Ghostmas. No hat. Yes, cute. No hat.
You need a power capsule. That's what you really need to defeat them. But no.
Can confirm cute. But no hat and no musical instrument.
So Possum's way to trigger it is using heal. Hasn't used slow, so heal won't do any additional changes to Z, but will invoke a magical counter, and that's what we want. But unfortunately, it takes down Porum. We don't care, because Rosa will probably survive the Big Bang, so no worries. You have 2 white mages, no problems.
Yeah, Possum has a very safe Z fight, but Judge Joe has a higher damage output Z fight. So Judge Joe may very well have a faster Z fight going through this, with the damage from Spoonword, as well as a Crystal Sword on that Cecil, as opposed to just an X-Cal, I believe, for Possum.
I think Possum's edge is, I think it's probably like 2 Murzames, so it's probably more than enough DPS with already the lead. So I think it might be close. Possum's already gotten at least
Possum definitely has had a pretty good head start on this fight.
Shouldn't take too long. The damage is going pretty well. Probably trying to get Porum for extra insurance. So just to keep it a little more safe. Porum not really critical, but if one white mage goes down, that's not the end of the run.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Judge Joe has tossed the crystal, has zerked up the Spoonword, has gotten a Avenger Glitch on that Cecil, so he's now swinging away for Crystal Sword damage.
I think I was going a little too fast, because those swings were...
Yeah, those swings missed, but that's okay. We're just making sure we have all the damage in place. And yeah, that's going to be some quick damage coming out here on Judge Joe's side.
Very fortunate for Possum that the nuke counter got absorbed by a character who, well, was just alive.
It didn't really matter, yeah.
I mean, Porum is just a buffer for the same thing, so it doesn't make it was trying to find even the probabilities for nuke to be on a character that you didn't care for, and it kind of works out. And here it's rocks. Doesn't matter if Rosa
Yep, I think
dies.
Possum is going to get through this first at this point. That head start definitely making all the difference here. And yeah, that is it. That is GG's to Possum Morpheus finishing in this race in third place, just behind Infinius, who sniped him with a finish of Infinius finishing in second place with 1 hour 22 minutes and 7 seconds. Possum Morpheus in third place, 1 hour 22 minutes and 31 seconds. We'll see about getting him in here for an interview.
GG's.
And it does look like we are now joined by Possum Morpheus. GG's.
Yeah, GG's to everybody.
So, my first question, at what point did you realize K-Trap was on?
I knew it the whole time. I was just trying to see if I could do it without getting, like, any traps.
Oh, okay, good.
And the Mad Ogres was going to be too much of a reset time-wise. But I was really hoping that, like, I could just go K-main only and, like, make a big play during a community race to try to win.
Okay.
But it didn't quite work out.
No. No, Last Arm Chest had some thoughts about that, as it turns out.
You decided in the first place just to ignore K-Trap. We didn't, not regardless, even if it was on the way, checking, like the K-Babel chest could have been checked much earlier on the before, even though these Tower of Babel chest, the Mad Ogre chest was checked though.
Well, the thing about the trap chest also, and like I probably should have taken the Staleman chest when I was there. That's why I went back for it. The trap chests, the way that they fill, I'm much more incentivized to go after the one-offs. So
yeah.
the things like, you know, the Last Arm chest, the hair dryers, the Mad Ogres, the Staleman, the Warriors. And so it didn't matter to me that they were on the way if it was things like Lower Babel.
Lower Babel, which is,
Filth, ew, gross. I don't have a palette.
Filth is, yes, no. I 100% understand that fade.
Yeah.
Because no, Sylph is gross. And to be fair, when you were going up the tower, you didn't really have a great setup to take out those the Lower Babel trap chests quickly.
I didn't have a good setup for anything. I was just making my way through the season.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I was taking a very different approach.
You kind of skipped the Cecil on the moon.
When I saw that Cecil, I was a little sad because I was like, okay, if you go up here early, you get that Cecil. That changes the tenor of the seed altogether. But it was like, whatever, absolutely. It happens. So,
and then, there was, if you went into Ebwin Castle, you could get a rat tail to get a Sandruby for a Palom on the overworld.
Which would have changed the entire complexion of the seed, to be frank. Not for me, but probably for others.
Yeah, there was... Basically, all the power characters were just, it's in this character check that you have to go just a tiny bit out of your way for.
Yeah, I don't know. I just took the approach of I'm just going to not fight anything that I don't have to and see if I can just skate my way through. And it almost worked.
It almost worked, and then the Last Arm chest was like, no, I'm going to have to pass. Which, of course, we knew pretty early. We figured that out relatively early on, not super early on, but we had seen every other check at that point because Judge Joe had cleared Sylph Cave, and we were like, okay, when is someone going to go to Last Arm? Because we've seen everything else. we know it's there. I think this was around the time you were finishing Baron as well.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the other thing is, even with K-Trap being on, I still prioritize K-main checks. So even if they're a little longer, things like Zot, things like Baron, things like Luca, I still think it's worth peeking them rather than going trap chest hunting, just based on how the fill algorithm works. So again, this was all kind of part of a test that I did, because I don't know how the math works.
I think it's definitely fair to go for those over things like Sylph Cave or Lower Babel, but the way that, at least that I understand the algorithm is Last Arm is just as likely as Baron Castle.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's totally equivalent.
I mean, I still needed Dark Matter as well.
This is true.
Baron was decent, Luca was decent,
Yes. Those are also a consideration, to be sure. And a big reason not to go for the dense areas, especially with trap chests. Like, Sylph Cave, just no. No thank
Yeah,
you.
Sylph Cave, I think I went in 3 times and I looted none. So
Yeah, that sounds like a place you go after you realize that everything else is done and you're what you need is there and you're sad.
yeah, I mean, if you have a Palom, it's much more palatable, or
Yeah.
maybe like a double Mura edge with a rune ring or something.
A double Mute Knife edge.
Double
going
Mute
through
Knife will
that
do
with
it too,
Blitz.
yeah. Yep, that also works. It's just...
Plus an Adamant Armor helped out with that.
Yeah.
There were a few of those in some of the trap chests.
I'm sure there were.
And the Treasury, you know.
Yeah, I got mine there.
That
My
one was
only
nice,
one.
but no, we saw 4.
I saw 1, and I guess 1.5 if you count the pink tail.
Yeah, we had Pink Tail. We had that one. We had one in Edwin Castle, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, and then one in Sylph Cave, which I mean, at that point that's very late, but
yeah,
no one didn't care about that one. But the Edwin Castle one was nice.
I hope everyone enjoyed the very alternative playstyle for tonight, because I did this entirely different.
We were like, what the heck is happening? Why are none of these trap chests getting checked? What are you doing? Why are you skipping perfectly good checks?
That's perfect.
I mean, some of them I was like, okay, this is understandable, but then, I don't know. Especially the Edwin Cave one, I was like, what? Wait, what? Why?
Mission accomplished then. Got him.
Oh, goodness.
Anyway.
Well,
I am going to dip out and let Joe get on in here.
Yeah.
I just opened up the stream and I see Joe has basically everything checked off, which tells me that he did a whole lot more than me.
Joe
in
did
like a minute
except for
more.
the Twin Harp, I believe.
Yeah. So Joe did a whole lot more than me. So let's get him in here, and he can explain how you're supposed to run this seed. But yeah, thank you, Deathlike.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Deathlike. Thank you, Xenocat. Appreciate y'all both doing the late night comms. And everyone behind the scenes, Asuka, of course, the amazing multi-time speed runner, queen of the puffs. I could go on and on. Thank you, Asuka, for the seed, and Sheep Launcher for pushing all the buttons. And y'all have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a fantastic Kwanzaa, and whatever else y'all celebrate, if anything. If you don't celebrate anything, have a heck of a weekend, friends. Everyone take care. Bye, y'all.
And with that, that was our 3rd place finisher, 1st place on Restream, Possum Orpheus, and right behind him, our 4th place finisher overall, with a time of 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 46 seconds, having cleared a whole lot more of the seed. It's Judge Joe. How are you doing, Judge Joe?
Feeling like it would have been a better idea to not do everything except harp. I didn't.
Yeah?
I was almost looking for it to be harp in the end, if I'm honest.
No, I mean, we knew about when you finished Sylph Cave that it was at the last arm chest, and we were just waiting at that point. But because we had seen every other check at that point.
Fair enough.
I don't know what everyone has against Last Arm. It's a perfectly valid check on this flag set that is exactly the same at weight as a K-main check.
It was perfectly fine and valid, but also I wasn't going to dark. I didn't raise the well for a long time this seed.
Yeah, and that I mean,
Pan was multiple checks when I ended up getting it from wherever, and I was doing my job along the way with the Sylph Trap chest.
Yeah.
Were sirens on the moon?
No, I don't think so. No, the Moonshot was complete garbage. It didn't even have anything in it.
So, no Bacchus, no sirens. Cool.
Yeah, no, you just it was just Cecil up there hanging out.
Cecil got enough XP from the hairdryers.
That is true. He was fine for you. It might have been nice to have him earlier, but yeah. You had Spoonward, you had Edge, you were fine.
He doesn't help with trap chests, so...
This is true.
It's just a matter of what his HP total is at the end. because
it was fine.
I did 0 boss fights.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is really the way to play this seed, or this flag set, is just skip all the boss fights, go for the trap chests, take them out as you go along.
Powell
And-
could have been a little nicer for it, but that would have required me to turn in the Sand Ruby, and I had Edge. He could blitz the
Edge
ghost.
was good enough. So yeah, Palin was there if you turned in the Sand Ruby. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was fairly straightforward. There wasn't any time where I was like, what the heck is Judge Joe doing? You know? Unlike Possum. Well, Possum made some interesting decisions, but I mean, from what I could tell, it was very straightforward. I'm gonna be very methodical and clear everything in a very methodical way. And I mean, you did it pretty quickly, considering. Possum didn't do half of the trap chests.
Where'd he get XP? No, where'd he get
Behemoths.
XP? Behemoths?
Yes. Behemoths. But yeah, no, he just didn't do, I mean, any of South Cave, any of Eblin Castle, any of Lower Babel.
Wait, he didn't do any Evelyn?
He did not.
Well, I guess it's Tella and Stone, so fair enough.
He just didn't do anything. It was fine.
You can Luke Goblin your way to that. I mean, you don't have to
Yeah,
do.
he
You
had,
do
he
it the
had
first
one
time.
adamant armor at the end of the seed. I'm just gonna put that into context. He only had one adamant armor.
And I ended up with 3, and could have had a 4th with the pink tail.
Yeah. No,
Also
that's...
ended up with something like 34 dark matter by the end. 32 to turn in an extra 2 or 3.
An extra 2 or 3. Yeah, sure. Why not? More dark matter is always good. But yeah, I guess any thoughts that you have about the seed?
It was fun. I was incredibly happy for the immediate Tella because exit. Also, the pair of crystal rings in the waterfall was a fun touch. Let's bribe it. Maybe there's dark matter. Well, that's not dark matter. But fun flag set. Glad I finally managed to catch one.
Yeah, that was definitely a way to play the seed. I mean, that was pretty efficient. Trying to just essentially doing your grind with the sylph cave chests. I mean, the plenty of XP. You had the tools. I mean, that's. Would you have? Is that your first choice, or is that your just kind of like on the way kind of thing?
So, if sirens were on any non-moon shop, because I never really did go to the moon till late, I'd have probably done somewhere from 3 to 5, just got enough eggs. Would have just been a much faster, although I still probably would have ended up with Sylph, because I was hunting the pass till the very end there. I was probably going to go and do the Sylph trap chest, say, if pass was from, say, Baron, which I did before Sylph, the trap chests were going to be my grind.
That's interesting because where you grind is always different. I mean, and especially with K trap on Scythe for their grind is not unheard of. So this is at least it was a good showcase of that, even if it didn't pay out the way it expected.
More adamants. It gave me the XP I needed for Z. Edward was looking a little low, but adamant armor
was fine.
It's fine. Adamant makes it fine.
Thanks everyone for putting on the restream. I'm sure it'll be a fun one to watch back at some point. And hope everyone also has a wonderful night.
Yep. Have a good night, Judge Joe. Take care.
GG's again, Joe.
Thank you.
That was our 4th place finisher, Judge Joe, overall. But we are now joined by another runner who has finished while we were in that interview, Tibble, finishing in 5th place with an official time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 2 seconds. GG's.
GG's. You ever been so angry you decided to sell an admin armor?
Was it Harp's fault?
No, last location in the pass.
Oh yeah, no, do last arm. This has been my what I've been preaching all night. It was just check last arm. The giant doesn't suck. Go to last arm.
But when
It's
I
a
finally
main
did
check.
Sheila,
There's no reason to not to do hair dryers and then not do last arm.
I did hair dryers. Like I had no problem doing hair dryers because I decided to look for Golbez on the moon early on since he was there
but
last time.
in my opinion, there's no reason not to do last arm right then. Last arm is easier than hair dryers.
Just think of what last arm does to you. It stops you and it deals damage.
And it deals percentage damage.
Percentage damage.
Part member.
And you can actually reflect the magnet.
And you can reflect the magnet to stop it. It's so easy.
I can see, but
The alert that does
it
some
is
damage.
High value check. The last arm check is more likely to have value than anything in Sylph Cave or Lower Babel or even Edwin Castle.
I was wondering whether or not Pete chest was on. I was like, I know I did this flag set before. Where is it?
Yeah, well, no, last arm is super valuable.
I was like, no Bacchus in shops, no Sirens in shops.
That was a fun twist.
I know I wanted to Paladin for Self because that's just free. So I wanted to keep Paladin from that, and then it was just like, okay, where's the pass? Come on, where's the pass? Come on! Right? Maybe Demas? No.
No.
Earth? No.
The answer is don't fade last arm. This is what the seed is teaching everyone. Stop fading last arm. Last arm, what did last arm do to you?
It hurt me.
How?
It hurt my soul.
It does 10% of one party member's damage every 2 turns.
Not even that out of the way compared to a lot of other things.
It is less time consuming than Sylph Cave and more valuable than Sylph Cave.
Yeah, but 1 versus 6, and then it's set up for a 7 or.
No,
8.
Sylph Cave is not 6. Sylph Cave is maybe 2 or 3, mathematically.
No. Okay. Well, Sylph has 6 checks.
It has 7 checks, but
1.
checks have the value of 3 checks, maybe of 2.5 checks.
Still, it's a numbers game.
Works. The way the algorithm works is Sylph Cave has the value of 2.5 checks, on average. All of Sylph Cave has 2.5 checks, roughly. Last arm is 1. It has the same value as any main check. So, like, last arm is equivalent in key item value to Harp, and Baron, and Zot, and all those checks.
All in all, it was a fun scene. I mean, the early game power was Watery Pass with Avenger, Mara. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we were commenting like all the weapons showed up early. Like the characters to use them were a little bit not present right at the beginning.
Yeah. When they got to the moon and saw Cecil, I'm like, okay, let's go see what I can do here.
Everything is fine. Cecil shows up.
And then I see Dims, I'm like, hey, this is a free fight. I've got hourglasses. Cool. Let's do this. I know it's not going to give me key items, but it's early game levels. I can do hair dryers. I can do. If I can't pay off Golbez at a Moonspot, I can probably beat him now.
Mm-hmm.
And they got an Excal for the reward, which I was happy about. Not like there was many more of those, including the Crystal Sword eventually, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, you made a gamble by going up to the moon and trying to find Golbez up there. Unfortunately, he wasn't up there, as it turned out.
Yeah.
But I definitely can see that play and appreciate that someone made it on Restream.
if you think about it, it's like you have paths as an objective, and you're only
Yeah,
looking at the two
you're not gonna be
chests.
walking
Either
the lunar subterranean anyway. It's like
you're gonna have to get the paths, which means you're either gonna have to do hair dryers or last arm. You might as well just clear out the moon bosses while you're there.
You may as well
Therefore, you don't have to go back
everything up
again.
there, yeah. And I mean, I genuinely think if you had cleared out the last arm on that trip, it would have been a very different seed.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because then it's like, oh, I get underground, there's I know where Golbez is. Oh, there's the Earth Crystal and the Feymarch freebie chest.
And then it's pretty much just go, you still do Sylph for the levels, and you're done.
Yeah. Or you could do Behemoths.
But you have to go back to the moon to do Behemoths.
That's true.
So you just do the Self-Trap
You
chest.
self-cape for the levels, and then it's like, well, now I don't have to check any of these other things.
Exactly. But then I don't have to spoon for Edward,
Yeah, but, like, you have a Crystal Sweet Cecil.
If I didn't have the spoon, I would have taken the edge and had Muramasa edge. Okay.
Yeah, it would have been fine.
That was the whole reason why I decided to keep the edge. It's like, I have the spoon. Cool. Keep Edward.
Mm-hmm. Well, that does it for my questions about the seed. Deathlike, do you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, not much. There's, I think the only one on Restream that took Palom. Is that or no or not? I'm trying to remember. Because Sand Ruby, the Sand Ruby from I can't remember.
Ordeals.
Yeah, from Ordeals would have gotten you the Palom in bed.
Yeah, I took the Palom for the trap chest itself. Figuring a Quake can easily get through every single one of those once he has it, which is why I went to Babel before I went down to Self, figuring he would have Quake before doing the Feymarch trap or even the Self trap chest. Instead of having to deal with like the mutes and having to heal up and float and just Quake.
Of course, yeah. You see Palom, Sylph Scythe Kings off on the table generally, so yeah, that totally makes sense. But that's the only question. Do you have any other thoughts on the seed other than last arm?
Yeah, just. You know, it's one of those things. Like next time I do other flags, so it's K trapped down. I'm going to do last arm, and it's going to be nothing. And I'll be like, well,
probably, yeah. That's how it works.
Heck if I do, heck if I don't. I mean, it is what it is. Rando gonna rando. No, thanks for the restream and the commentary. I love watching these back. And for those of you that do celebrate the holidays, happy holidays. Hope you all have a good holiday, and see you all next time.
Yep. Have a good night. Take care.
Bye.
He's going to bulk.
And that was our 5th place finisher overall, Tivil, 3rd place on Restream. In the meantime, we have had a few other finishes come in. Reckless Charlie has finished the race in 6th place with a time of 1 hour 37 minutes and 54 seconds. Fiery Blizzard has finished the race in 7th place with a time of 1 hour 42 minutes and 4 seconds, just beating out Toydrak in 8th place with a time of 1 hour 42 minutes and 33 seconds. GG's to all of those folks.
Yeah, I think Gurnis, I think still looking for dark matter. So
no, I think maybe a little bit, but I think I'm pretty sure this is a play at the LST trap chests for a pass, not realizing that the pass can't be here because the lunar subterranean trap chests are not included in the pool unless either K-Moon or K-Unsafe is on, as well as K-Trap.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, mostly because no one wants to.
Mostly because no one likes these chests. Yeah. These chests are disgusting. No one wants to fight them. So the Rando devs decided, you know what, we're just gonna turn them off unless you have K-Trap and K-Moon, or meaning you'll be going down into the moon to fight the lunar altars anyway, or unsafe to allow for more opportunities for the unsafe to hit. So your unsafe hitting isn't just Oh, it's in hair dryers or last arm.
Yeah, it definitely is a different experience, but make it just having the defaults. It makes LST chests are pretty hard without having done some grind, and then you be doing a grind upon to do it effectively another grind, and that's
Yes. Oh yeah. The Lunar Subterranean trap chests are essentially a second grind.
yeah.
And I mean, there goes another one. Palom is at nuke at this point. There are still several trap chests to fight in here, and all we're getting is nice items. We're not going to get any key items out of this. This is just going to be nice pieces of gear. Maybe we'll see more adamant armors. But honestly, with how many adamant armors have shown up this seed, I don't think we need any more.
Thinking that probably forgot about the last arm, because that's the only thing that come to
I'm
mind.
pretty sure that's the only thing Ruin has not checked at this point. And unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a while before Gladen gets to the last arm chest.
There's usually one boss or one particular check that people forget to do when a certain flag is on. In the instance of K-Trap, it can be last arm. Sometimes it's the hair dryers. I'm trying to think of other examples, but there are always some checks that you forget to, like, say, if there's no, say, if you don't have to do a character check, sometimes some people fade Mount Hobbs altogether. So there's some combination of flags where you forget what is the thing that you should kind of focus or remember, but it happens to everyone. And like sometimes even like Zot 1 for boss hunt has been something people forget that exists. So. Demus boss hunt. So that's one of those things that happens. It
definitely does happen sometimes, and unfortunately, I think it looks like this might be a case of someone just forgot that the last arm chest is a thing. To be fair, there are worse fades that people forget. It's like some people, I've seen runners forget that Antlion Cave exists because they didn't do it in the first 10 minutes of the seed.
Yeah, sometimes when you intentionally fade something early, you then literally forget it for the rest of the seed until you start last locationing things, and those are sore subjects sometimes. But usually sometimes you want to, runners try to get into a pattern of doing certain things, like kind of like clockwork. You just do these things because certain flags are like you have to do. You want to do Troyer first when free K&M's available. So you don't forget it. That's just.
Oh, absolutely. It is so easy to forget the free key item if you don't do it early. Other things that can be forgotten if you don't do it early. Baron Inn if you don't do it before you go underground. Go direct remembering that one. I've seen several people forget that exists. I know I've forgotten that ordeals exists because I just didn't. I went underground before doing it and started doing underground stuff before ordeals, and then just completely forgot it existed.
Was it assumed that was because you didn't have a Tella or Cecil available?
Yeah, I didn't have those characters in my party. It didn't matter, so I just forgot.
So it won't be the first time, won't be the last. It's happened to everyone in a race. It's
I mean, to answer, oh my gosh, you forgetting to check Rudio's mom for 50 minutes on Restream? Yeah, I've forgotten about the existence of the waterfall boss for Demist for over an hour. Demist was there, it had my darkness crystal. Somehow I won that race.
It's okay. Do you say it's better to be lucky than to be good? No,
I got to skip all the hard room bosses.
So I think Gurn's trying to just thinking that the key item might be one of these chests. It's definitely not for a grind. It's
Yeah,
probably.
it's looking for a key item here that unfortunately just will not be up here.
I mean, there are also like multiple pass flags too. You know, there's some you can buy in a shop or they're in regular treasure chests.
But
So
we, I believe, only have the key item location flag on.
Yeah.
For this flag set.
Yeah, which is pretty common.
It's pretty common in most of our flag sets that we run, especially in our competitive flag sets. But we did have another finisher off stream. We had Flurry finishing this race in 9th place with a time of 1 hour 50 minutes and 34 seconds. GG's to Flurry.
So going over the flag set, Classic Forge. That means I think for terms of free enterprises, I think you just don't get the Excal.
Yes, you don't get anything from Forge, which is funny because the Supersmith flag is on, but it doesn't matter because Coco keeps it anyway.
I mean, it would be funny if it just told you what the if it had Supersmith on, what would it have been, just to poke you. It's like,
that would have been great.
It'd be fun.
Just like, hey, I made this. Hey, I made an Abel's Lance, but it's mine now. Or for this party, probably. Hey, I made a Lightbringer, but it's mine now.
Yeah. There's always a lot of interaction with the flag. Sometimes sometimes it's especially when for a race, just to read it over, just to make sure you remember, just to remember. Not everyone's gonna remember every particular flag. There's just so many flags and so many combinations to remember. So we couldn't even find sirens or buy sirens.
We couldn't steal sirens.
Oh, okay. So then I thought that was on the table. So okay, well then.
No, stealing sirens is not an option in this flag set.
So you're just trying to.
You could buy them theoretically, but you can't steal them.
Yeah, I think given what we know, I don't think there were no shops that had it. So
no shops had sirens in this seed or Bacchus wines. It was a very, very rude seed in terms of what was available in shops.
Yeah, I think the Evelyn shop is usually the kind of the key place to hold 2 opportunities for those type of items.
But I think it was just hourglasses and like elixirs or something. No sirens there at least, or Bacchus.
I think it was hourglasses. Did you have hourglasses, or did you find hourglasses?
I think there were hourglasses there.
Yeah, that has definitely some value. So
yeah. Oh yeah, it still had something of value, just not the sirens or Bacchus we were looking for. But we did, in the meantime, have a 10th place finisher off restream. Jbrun TR has finished in 10th place with a time of 1 hour 54 minutes and 1 second. GG's to him.
Yeah. It's good to see, even though not everyone is being restreamed, but everyone participation is always appreciated.
There are many people who are running this race that are not on Restream, beyond just our 4 people that we had on Restream, but we only have room for 4 in our layout. Speaking of non-Restreamed folks, Cubs Roll just finished in 11th place with a time of 1 hour 55 minutes and 47 seconds. Duties to him.
I think the Gardens. I think this is the last. Yeah, this is the last. There's 2 more treasure chests after this, but
yeah, we're very close.
Realization.
We're basically done with the lunar subterranean. So we should be realizing what is going on soon. We hope. I mean, Rose's mom will also tell you if it gets to that point. Rose's mom will say what checks are left in the seed.
Yeah, I have actually used that sometimes when I'm like, oh yeah. Although the last time I actually used it was one of your trigger seeds, just because.
Oh yeah.
Those.
I make some rudeness, but also the fun thing with Rose's mom and mystery seeds is she doesn't tell you what checks are left. She tells you all of the checks. Graham, there's no more chests down here.
Yeah, that's...
You have cleared the lunar subterranean. You're done. You did all of the chests. Congratulations. You have defeated all of the trap chests in the lunar subterranean. There was nothing in any of them. Nothing could have been in any of them, but you did it anyway. Good job.
I think I always end up doing that in any of the trigger scenes. I was like, yeah. I just want everything.
No. The lunar subterranean is always a waste of time. Never check the trap chests in the lunar subterranean. I am a firm believer in never checking them. They are always the worst checks. Not only are they rude, they also have the lowest odds of actually being put into the pool for distribution.
Right.
Yes, individually.
Okay. I don't think I've played a lot of unsafe seats. But those, yeah.
The odds, if the flags include them, this is if the flags include them. So you have Moon Trap or Trap Unsafe, one of those combos that does include the lunar subterranean trap chests. Then it starts by default putting 2 of them into the pool to be randomized, into the pool of key items, with a 50% chance of 3. If it does 3, then there's a 50% chance of going to 4. If it does 4, then there's a 50% chance of going to 5, and so on until it's checked all 9. But as soon as it fails one of those 50/50s, it stops adding them to the pool. Now, granted, that just adds them as locations to the pool, where it then takes all of the locations that are in the pool, which will include all of the main locations, all of the singleton trap chest locations, so all those one-offs are guaranteed in. At least 2 locations, maybe more, from every other dungeon with trap chests in it. Some of the summon and moon locations, if those flags are on, as well. And it takes all of those and distributes the key items through those locations, and then checks to see if it works or not, logically.
Right.
Which obviously, we can't have a darkness crystal on the moon, and if it's not unsafe, we can't have underground access on the moon, and there's a whole bunch of other things that'll show up probably before the moon.
Right. You just want...
Yeah, there's logic always applies here, but that's the reason why the lunar subterranean trap chests are so bad, because there's 9 of them. And statistically, maybe 3 of them are in the pool to have a key item. Like, 2 or 3 of them are in the pool, on average, to contain a key item. That's not saying they will contain a key item, that's saying they could have been chosen to contain a key item. So, odds are you're gonna find 1, maybe 2 key items in there, if that. And very often they'll be completely haunted, even if they were allowed to have items.
Interesting. That's good to know. But hey,
all this said, heck the OST. And Glarin is doing last arm, so yay, we're almost done.
Just to remind last arm who's boss, just nuking it before even does its thing.
Goodbye last arm. We did have another finisher off stream. Warlink has finished the race in 12th place with a time of 1 hour 59 minutes and 19 seconds. GG's to Warlink.
We're up and the way out. Just need to turn in everything. That's on the way. And that you can't. Well, kind of like Zot, leaving the giant isn't a vanilla thing. So this is specifically a free enterprise thing where there's an exit until it's turned off.
We give you exits from Zot and the giant because we're kind. But there is a flag set to turn it off for the giant. There's not a flag currently to turn it off for Zot because that would have logic implications. That would have some serious logic implications. Because there can be because as of right now, the Flame Dog chest and the first boss, which could be a Demist, are in logic without the Earth Crystal.
Yeah. That would be something if that was have a flag to tweak that, but that obviously would move.
It would take those options and make them gated by the Earth Crystal, which I'm sure would make a lot of people happy because, heck, they don't like that. So we just have it be a thing because trolley options are good for viewers. Whereas with Giant, the reason that Vanilla Giant became a thing was to say, hey, if you're going to go into the Giant to do a grind, which was the most common a lot of runners would go into the giant to do a D machine grind and then leave. It was kind of a way to say, hey, if you're gonna go into the giant to grind, you have to sit through the bosses to get out.
Yeah,
As a way of discouraging people going to the giant.
Oh yeah, sure. Like you basically have to full commit, and that's fine.
So it's kind of different. Whereas Zot is a key item check that most people are happy to just commit to clearing. You know, most people don't want to go up and do it. So there's not the same incentive to have a vanilla Zot flag, as it were. Anyway, Glorin is about to completely destroy the final boss. This final boss is about to have a very bad day.
I mean, you did LST trap grind, have Crystal Sword. I mean, how?
This is going to melt. It's you know, this is fine. These are normal Z levels that we're about to see. Perfectly normal Z levels.
And Gurm will find, you know, surprise cosplay that Z decided to do tonight, which were the ghosts from Pac-Man.
Yes, we're going to do some ghost busting. Just before the holidays, gotta make sure there's no holiday ghosts.
Mm-hmm. Waiting for a awakened Scrooge that has changed his mind and reverse all the glitching that Golbez has done, or some such.
Yep. There goes the crystal.
Looks like it's probably, well, I thought I may have paid him to the party, but this is all mage party, so I guess we're going full reflex strats, which compared to everyone else who's I think went practically full berserk, this will be something different.
Yeah, it's different. I think I would have a hard time, you know, turning down Crystal Sword Cecil. This is at least a hybrid. Cecil's going burr. Love to see it. Rosa's going burr. I love it. I approve.
I think she has one of the harem robes of that makes sense.
Probably.
And Porm's gonna be the healer.
Porm's gonna do some healing and silk web tossing. Yeah, Rosa is doing appreciable damage.
I think there's an Artemis bow. I think there's Artemis bow in the seats, so with Artemis arrows. So that's the best you can do on a bow and arrow set, other than having a super smith crafted arrow or bow. So this is the best any character that can wield the bow and arrow can do. So it's more than it's Kane level damage. So it's
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not Crystal Sword Cecil damage, but it's fine.
It's nice when you get a crit with that bow and arrow. That's where the real damage comes from. Low percentage, but usually higher than average critical hit chance with a bow and arrow, which is hard to imagine, but it's there. I mean, the twins could take a nap, and the seed will still be taken care of. The best part of the reflex strats, even if this is a more hybrid, you know, not getting nuked in the face, so this is always a good thing to have. And also has other properties like not triggering the refill. So if in the aspect that it happened to, you know, not hit the trigger point, and then you have an opportunity to kind of kill Z in the first phase effectively.
Yeah. Cecil, of course, will ruin that, but everyone else could theoretically push him down to the point below the threshold, and then Cecil taking a swing at that point could finish him off. But if after Cecil or Rose's turn, if they hit him and he's below, I believe, 16,000 hit points, he'd rebuild. But it looks like that is it for the ghosts. The ghosts are gone. Garen has finished this race in 13th place for a time of 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 19 seconds. And we will see if Garen wants to come in for an interview.
Look at completing the seed, even though I'm sure that the finding out, sort of remembering, oh yeah, that moment of recollection. So, it's still hey, still worth clearing out a significant part of the seed.
Yeah. Honestly, not a bad time to be clearing everything. But it does look like we might be joined by Gwyrin now. We'll see if we are in fact joined.
Whenever he's ready.
Yeah, whenever Gwyrin decides to unmute. But definitely get your GGs out for Gwyrin. That was a long haul through everything in the entire game, basically.
There we go.
And we are now joined by Gwyrin. GGs.
I did say 18 out of 17 in the comments to begin this thing.
Yeah, you did every check and then some. I believe my first question is, I know that we saw you taking a lot of bosses early on. What was the reason for, whereas a lot of our other runners in the race had the money or sold a lot of things early on and bribed their way through basically every boss on the overworld? What was your reason for taking on all those bosses?
I haven't played this flag so much with the payable Golbez, so looking for experience more than anything else, probably.
I mean, that does make sense. The party in the early game was not particularly strong and needed a few levels to get going. So I can definitely see why there would be a desire for experience. And I mean, of course, you did bribe the ruder bosses, which is, if money is more of a consideration, is definitely the way to go on a payable Golbez seed. It's just that this seed, the T-Wildish loot and the dark matter hunt kind of lent itself to, you're going to have enough money to bribe everything. But then, yeah, I want to hear your thoughts about what were you thinking as the seed sort of drew to a close, as you cleared more and more and you were just not finding anything, especially what motivated that long LST dive?
Well, I knew the pass had to be somewhere in a key location. I figured 9 on the moon versus 1 in Giant. Odds would suggested it, but...
So, there was a couple things. First of all trap chests are not created equal. The lunar subterranean trap chests are, if they are included in the pool, are the worst checks mathematically, but per check. In terms of being actually having a key item. They are less than half as likely, about a third as likely as a main check to have anything. But the other thing is, lunar subterranean trap chests are not included in the pool. They were on this flag set. They were not able to have key items because of the way that K Trap interacts with K Moon. So the way that lunar subterranean trap chests work is they're only included on K Moon, if K Moon is also on, or if K Unsafe is also on, in addition to K Trap. That being said, you did an excellent job clearing through those trap chests, and we were joking, like, you just are tearing through the entire lunar subterranean with, like, a vengeance or something. And it was very satisfying to see things like Bimmy and Jimmy get just completely destroyed.
Well, there you go, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, you learn something new every day. It was... I mean, there wasn't anything in particular that stuck out as, like, you know, you're a good runner, you got through the seed, you maybe weren't as adapted to the flags as some of the other runners on Restream, but you know your way around.
I think what made me think Moon was on was because I got Pinktail on the Moon.
Oh yeah, the hairdryer's chest is exempt from that. The hairdryer's chest is still on. It's only the lunar subterranean chests.
Yeah, so
hairdryer's chest is a check if K-Trap is on without Moon or Unsafe. Lunar subterranean chests, not checks.
So
Last Arm also is a check, as I'm sure you figured out. It's a bit of a tricky distinction, that especially since it's a change from the way K-Trap operated in the previous version of Free Enterprise, but I believe that change was made in the current version of Free Enterprise, so about 9 months ago was when that change happened to K-Trap.
That's good to know. I don't run a whole lot of K-Trap races.
Yeah. No, it's not the most popular flag. And especially since so often it's paired with, especially in the router settings, with K-Moon or K-Unsafe, and then it's like, oh well, now the lunar subterranean traps are back in. But yeah, that's sort of the big things that I noticed. It was a little bit of extra boss time here and there with you taking bosses that other people didn't. Just due to unfamiliar with the flag set, I'm sure, not necessarily inability to play the game as a whole. Because it's important to remember that these flag sets are rotating flag sets that we pull in for a little bit, you know, just to try them out, and it's not like a tournament flag set where everyone figures out what the meta is and sort of follows the meta, or deviates from the meta in specific ways after they figured out the meta. This is... We're throwing together a bunch of flags, and sometimes it's hard to figure out what the exact best strategy is. But you definitely played well. Just a little bit of unfamiliarity with some really honestly particular flag interactions that are very specific, and I think that you still deserve to be given GG's and applauded for your performance this seed, because I mean, you ran a pretty good race considering.
If there weren't like 6 adamants throughout the whole thing, that early Pinktail was kind of nice.
Oh yes, all the adamants. Any final thoughts from you on this seed before we wrap up?
No, that's just kind of expectations. It's going to be 18 out of 17.
There's no shame in that. Sometimes seed happens. Not everyone had that experience, but I mean, no shame in having 17 out of 17. You cleared the seed. So that's and some seeds actually lend to that too. So no shame in that.
Absolutely. Well, I think that is going to do it for us for tonight. We're just going to do a straight sign off because it is very late. It is already Saturday where I am.
It is here too, and there's also more free enterprise later.
Yes,
today.
there's more free enterprise at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
On Saturday. So in 15 hours, less than that.
Yeah, that sounds right. 15 hours.
Go over to the main FE channel, the flagship FE channel, twitch.tv/free enterprise, and there will be Baron's Hero's Journey. I forget who the hero is this week, but I know that Alchemy's put together some phenomenal flag sets for that club, and so I am always excited when it's a Baron's Hero's Journey seed. Unfortunately, I have a conflict, so I can't be on the restream team. Gosh dang it. But whoever is on the restream team will be fantastic, and we hope to see as many of you there as are available, understanding, of course, it is Christmas Eve.
Of course. And I hope to see you there if you are able. And yeah, that's still, at least there's something to do if there is nothing else going on.
Yes. We have provided you an afternoon of entertainment if you so choose. But that being said, it's late. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, and don't spoil the seed to anyone, at least for
oh yes, no spoilers. Right, that's a thing. People like watching VODs. Have a good night, folks.